Let's start up with the Ascend Mate 7. The first thing you notice is that this is a big device coming with a 6-inch screen. This is one of the bigger candidates in the phablet space. What Huawei has done is reduce the bezels on the device as much as possible, that in the end the resulting device dimensions only slightly outsize the newly announced Note 4 with its 5.7-inch screen. The new JDI manufactured IPS-NEO screen promises a contrast ratio of 1500:1 and also brings with it increased brightness and reduced power, with Huawei stating 15% better transmissitivity and 15% reduced power consumption. We'll be sure to test this display to the fullest extent, as at first glance it seems outstanding, filling up a 83% bezel-to-device footprint ratio. This is currently the most screen on a device out there. I have to point out that Huawei was very misleading in its rendered presentation pictures, as it portrayed the phone as such that it gave an impression that the screen begins immediately where the bezel ends. However, in reality there's another 3mm of black nothingness on both sides before you meet the first pixels. Huawei was trying to praise a so-called i3 coprocessor, but this is something that devices have had since the Note 2 in the form of external sensor hoods, which are most of the time little ARM Cortex-M3 microcontrollers, with Qualcomm first integrating them into their SoCs such as the Snapdragon 800. The body of the Mate 7 houses an enormous 4100 mAh battery offering 15.78 Wh of power. This is more battery capacity than found in the Nexus 7 2013, but inside a phone. Huawei made this possible by dedicating a very large amount of internal device space to the battery alone, with it taking the whole width of the device and filling up from the top of the bottom bezel up to the fingerprint sensor in height. This is all encased in an aluminum body and keeping a thickness of 7.9mm at the thickest point in the center of the device. Even though it is made of aluminum, the device is still able to offer NFC with help of a little gap above the camera and the NFC coil surrounding the camera and flash. The top and bottom parts of the Mate 7 remain plastic. Huawei tried to spin a 3.5mm thickness at the edges, but I'd say 5mm is the more realistic measurement that we see on the sides of the device. The ergonomics are very pleasing and the build quality is top-notch. On the bottom we find a standard micro USB 2.0 connector, which is oddly enough not in the very middle of the device and makes for a strange asymmetry in terms of design. The power button is found on the right side at thumb's reach and the volume rocker is located right above it. On the left side we have the main SIM tray and the secondary tray that may house both a nano SIM and a micro SD card, which by the way means the phone has full dual SIM capabilities. The camera setup is relatively established while offering the same IMX214 camera sensor as found on the Honor 6. The G7 offers by the way the same optics system. The f2.0 28mm wide-angle lens is a welcome addition that I hope more manufacturers would adopt. On the front camera we see a 5MP sensor, and with something Huawei names a non-spherical lens, which I'll have to investigate more to see what it brings. The main attraction of the Mate 7 is the new fingerprint sensor found below the back camera. This is a touch sensor manufactured by Swedish company FPC, which may be the FPC 1020 that was announced late last year. As such, Huawei is the first manufacturer following Apple's Touch to offer a full touch sensor as opposed to a swipe implementation as found on Samsung's devices. It offers full 360 degrees print rotation readout support, no matter if you have wet fingers or not. Huawei implements a RF sensing ring around the sensor that makes it possible to detect your finger even when the device is sleeping, as it will wake the device up. This allows for turning on of the device and unlocking in a single action. I tested out the feature and it works perfectly. The fingerprint registration is identical to Apple's, with you having to press your fingerprint multiple times for better characterization of your fingerprint. The success rate was near 100% for what I didn't consider a very serious registration procedure on my part. The touch sensor can also be used as a camera shutter button when taking photos. The Huawei Ascend Mate 7 come in silver and gold, with the Mate 7 having an additional option of black and gray at €499 for 2GB per 16GB and €599 for the 3GB per 32GB models. The Mate 7 will be available end of October in China and Hong Kong and UK, Germany, Italy, France and Spain in Europe, with a global launch following that. Least to say I was impressed by the Mate 7. It seems like a great device overall. I know that the SoC has some faults, especially GPU performance, and you will be able to read about that soon as I finish up the Honor 6 review. However, the phone's build quality, great screen, connectivity features and gigantic battery all make up for it. Thanks for watching New Tech channel. Stay tuned and subscribe for more videos.